my new microphone clipped to a file. I think it's perfect. So in my 2024-2025 video that I posted last, I mentioned that one of my big goals was to invest in tools that are going to make me a lot better and just overall leveling up this year. And so I did end up buying a pneumatic graver from GRS. I bought it with my own money and I ended up going with the GraverSmith. I'll talk about the other two and kind of what I gauged on which one to get, because when you're first going down the rabbit hole of pneumatic gravers, it's hard to know what the difference is between all of them, because there is a pretty big price difference between all of them. And if you are a buy once, cry once type of person, you could go leaning toward the more expensive one. But from my research, that may not be the way to go if you're small or a beginner or whatever. So I did get the engraver today in the mail and I was really excited to open it, but I was like, no, don't open it yet. Open it with everyone else. I want you guys to see what comes with, what it doesn't come with. I haven't opened the package, but as soon as I got it, I went and looked at the picture and I realized that it doesn't come with some things. It actually doesn't come with a lot of things that you need in order to use the engraver. So I think this is a good video, not only for funsies just to see the tool and unboxing it, but it's gonna be good information of what you need to buy alongside it, because you don't want to be like me and get it in the mail and be all excited and then not be able to use it because you're missing some of the key parts. So let's open the actual unit and then we'll talk about what it doesn't come with, what you need, and why I chose the GraverSmith. So when you buy the GraverSmith, I believe this all was about $1,200 or $1,200 on the nose. It comes with a foot pedal, the hose for the foot pedal, the power cord, obviously, and that is it. It does not come with the hose from the regulator on the back that attaches to your air compressor. And it also does not come with the handle, like the little hand pieces. I wish it did come with all of those things. It can be kind of frustrating, especially as a beginner who doesn't have a ton of knowledge in these pieces of equipment. I wish it came with every single thing you need. Like, you can't use one of these without the handpiece, so why wouldn't it come without the handpiece? And you need the 1/4-inch hose, so why would it not come with the 1/4-inch hose? So that kind of stuff is a little bit annoying, especially because those other things are really expensive. Like, they sell the hose and the little attachment that attaches to your air compressor for about $80. And then the actual hand piece for this thing is about $430, which comes with a hose. So it's not just $1,200, although this is the base model. You're probably going to be looking more around $1,650 to $1,700 for every single thing that you need. So please know that if you buy this unit or any of the other ones, you're still going to need those other components, and they are kind of pricey. So the other options aside from the GraverSmith is the GraverMax and the GraverMach. I believe those are the other two names. If I'm wrong, I'll put it up here. But from what I could tell from the research that I did, there isn't a huge difference performance-wise. It's more just little things that are niceties to have. If you're someone who's stone setting a lot and engraving a lot, and you're constantly going back between engravers and hammer pieces for bezel settings, or just changing your gravers a lot, then maybe it could be worth getting the other one so that you have multiple ports, so you can have multiple different types of engravers attached at the same time. The handle that they have is a quick change one, so I don't think that that's a big enough perk to spend $600 more on a bigger unit. So this one only has one port, so you can only have one handle attached at a time. It also doesn't support one of the newer handles that they have that allows it, works off the weight of the pushing, like how much pressure you're putting on the handle, and you can go back and forth between the foot pedal and just pushing with your hand, so it goes just off of the pressure of your hand, which I'm sure is really, really nice. But again, not enough of a nicety for me to spend an extra $600. I'd rather just push with my foot. It's what I've been doing anyway with my hammer handpiece. So I ended up choosing this one since there really is no performance difference. They all apparently engrave the same way with the same strength and all of that stuff. And yeah, it also saves some money so that I can possibly purchase a microscope. I would like to get a microscope here in the beginning of the year so that I can sharpen my gravers correctly and start learning more intricate stone setting techniques. The important thing about these units is that you are going to have to get an air compressor, and some of the ones that they advertise with these machines that kind of go along in like the things that other people purchase when they buy these machines, the air compressors that people use with these are so expensive. I've seen some for $3,500. I saw some for $500. And then there wasn't really one less than $300. I did read some forums and I saw some other name brands mentioned, and I am not in the place to be investing thousands of dollars in an air compressor. I ended up getting the Fortress air compressor from Harbor Freight. It's the ultra quiet 6-gallon, and it has the performance capabilities that this specifically requires. I don't know what this means, but you do have to have an air compressor that can put out 1.4 CFM per 45 PSI, or at the minimum of 45 PSI. I did confirm that this Harbor Freight one is capable of putting out that much air pressure at that low of PSI. I think it's airflow. I think the CFM is the airflow at a certain pressure. And so this one apparently can do it. It says it's ultra quiet. At first I was wondering why you need one that's so quiet, but it does make sense when you do some research. This thing takes in a ton of air, and so your air compressor is constantly going to be kicking on to feed it some air and repressurize itself. And if you've never worked around an air compressor, I have one, a little hot dog one down here for my wax injector, and they're super, super loud. So if you're working, especially on something really fine and intricate, or working around stones or carving something really intricate, you don't want to be startled by your air compressor whenever it kicks on to repressurize itself. But also, if you're working in a space with other people, so like I'm in my basement, if I'm working at night and everyone's asleep, I don't want my air compressor to wake up the whole house. So you do want something that's quieter, and that's gonna make it cost a little bit more money. The one that I got was about $229, but if you sign up at Harbor Freight, you get 15% off. Not a plug, just saying, save some money. And I think you just give them your phone number, and I think you pay $5 a year, something super small. I'll make sure to link the one that I got below. I'll link it in the description so that you guys can get whatever I get if that's helpful for you. Also, I mentioned that the hose that you can get from Rio Grande or from other websites that are specifically from GRS, they call it like the connector kit or something like that. It's $80. You can find your own 1/4-inch hose and connecting pieces at Harbor Freight or at Home Depot, so you do not have to spend $80 for a hose and a brass fitting. I am not super knowledgeable on fittings and all of that type of stuff, so I'm gonna have Tom's help setting it up. I believe that the hose that I got from Harbor Freight, it's just a 1/4-inch like plastic hose. I believe it can fit in here just fine. There's a little connector right in here, and I'll put a video right there where the hose just slips in. It doesn't require any fitting to connect to this little box, but you will need a certain fitting to connect it to your air compressor. But every air compressor is going to be different. So if you choose to get the same one that I get, then I will put down what kind or what size or what type of connector that Tom puts on there, and that way you guys don't have to guess on everything that you need. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the air compressor and open up the hose that I got. Hopefully it fits perfectly on here. I think the hose that I bought was $19, and it would have been cheaper, but it came with all these different fittings with it, which who knows, maybe I'll need one of those fittings. But yeah, it's better than $80, and I didn't have to wait for it to be delivered from Rio Grande. So hopefully everything works out. If not, then maybe I'll just buy the hose and I'll let you guys know if I'm wrong. Never mind. First, I'm gonna show you guys the hand piece that I got for this and the hose. I ended up getting, I believe it's called QC 915. Oh gosh, I don't remember the name. Let's see. 901, QC 901, I believe that's what it's called. I'd also get some other gravers. Some were the ones that Bernard finds setting. If you look him up on Instagram or TikTok, he also has a YouTube channel, but he also has a stone setting course. I mentioned that in my previous video that I'm gonna try and take his course this year. It's all online, and I took one of his free courses that I guess just kind of show you how he films his videos, how he teaches, and it was a video on sharpening gravers, and just watching that video I learned so many things I've been doing wrong. So if that video is still up, go look on his website, Bernard Fine Setting or Fine Setting Academy, or no, Micro Setting Academy, that's it. Watch that video because it'll be really helpful. But he has a really, really in-depth Micro Setting Academy where he films through his microscope, and he is really, really good. If you haven't seen his work, he's one of the best that I've seen when it comes to stone setting. So yeah, I'm hoping to take his course, and he recommended a few gravers to have. And so I said, yes, sir, and I got them. I think this is the QC 901 handpiece, but I will put it in here if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But it comes with the hose that you need. It comes in this little box, and it has a bunch of quick change pieces, so I can attach a bunch of different engravers on there. I think that this is a stand for your quick change engravers, but I also could be wrong. So let me just pull all of this out, and then I'll let you know exactly what everything is. I just saw the name of it for sure. It is the GRS 901 AT handpiece. I always wondered what one of these felt like, and it's really, really heavy. Like, this is steel, it's not aluminum. It's hard to know what materials things are made out of when you just see people using them online. But this is definitely some kind of steel. It's very, very heavy. Not like uncomfortably heavy. It's just weighted. Feels like there's a weight inside. But it's real metal, not plastic or anything like that. It's really, really nice. Let's read some instructions, shall we? Uh-oh. No! I'm hoping I didn't get the wrong handle, because right now it's showing it attached to a GraverMach AT. And it's got two hoses, and my GraverSmith only has one hose in the front. So I think I might have gotten the wrong handpiece. Well, this is good. This is a good learning moment. Let's see if this is wrong. Okay, so this is a very good learning moment for you guys. I bought a more expensive handpiece. Yeah, it's fine. It's gonna work with it. So it says that it's backwards compatible with the original GraverSmith. So the AT apparently stands for air tact, which is the one where you can push and the pressure of your palm will make the GraverSmith go. And so apparently I just plug this end in, and this one will just hang down. At least if I ever upgrade, then I'll be able to attach this in there, but it's okay. Honestly, for me, it's not worth sending it back. There's always a chance of possibly upgrading in the future, so I'm gonna keep it. But just so you guys know, to keep your price down, the 901 AT is gonna be for your GraverMach and your GraverMax, and then your 901 QC is gonna be for this one. So my mistake. So the handle came with 6 of these little tips, and these are the quick change tips, and it didn't show you how to use them. I think they probably assumed that it was self-explanatory. So with a little bit of, you know, discovering and just looking around it, it comes with this little Allen key, and you just loosen up some of these, but be careful not to loosen up all the way because they will fall out. You just have to unscrew them just a little bit, and you can see on the inside when you look in. It's hard to see on my camera, but when I peek in, you could see when the screws kind of disappear. And it looks like you can really use any GRS graver with these. So some of the GRS gravers that I have are square like this on the ends, and other ones that I have are flat, like completely flat on the end. I have the flat one, and this one you can tell it's more flat, and this one is square. I don't know how else to describe that. But you just slide it in and then tighten the screws, and then your graver will be secure. You wiggle it around, make sure it's in there. And so you can take all your gravers and put them on each little tip if you like, and then they sell them individually as well. And it came with this little red holder. You can see there's 4 in here, but it leaves you room for extras. And if you wanted, you could even take Sharpie and write down what engravers and what sizes they are on here. But anyway, that's how you do that. And then it also doesn't tell you how to put it in the handle. And again, I'm sure they thought it was self-explanatory, which is fine. But you're just going to lift it up. Be careful not to cut yourself on your graver. Just lift up a little bit, And then you can untwist and pull at the same time. It really just pulls straight out, but it helps to untwist. And then you can put it back in, push down while you twist. It just slides right in. And then there's this little notch right here, and you just push it down. And just make sure it tightens back up. The handle also came with a spring. I don't know what it goes to though. When I look at the breakdown in the packet that it came in, it just says that it says spring fine, but it doesn't show in any of the assembly stuff where it goes or what it belongs to on the handpiece. So if anybody knows that, please leave it in the comments. I am just gonna sit it in the red little cup so it doesn't get lost, but yeah, I have no clue what this is for. So this is the air compressor that I chose from Harbor Freight. It's the Fortress Ultra Quiet 6-gallon air compressor. It is the cheapest thing that I could find that the specs would actually work with this engraving system. Money's not just falling from the sky, guys. We got to budget on some things and splurge on others. So that's what we're doing. And holy crap, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Okay. So I'm hoping that I have the fittings for this and that I can turn on this engraving system and I don't have to go back to Ace Hardware or Harbor Freight or wherever. Let me pull this out. I'm gonna put my microphone down. When you don't have someone to help, you just figure out how to do it yourself. Holy. Feels like 80 pounds, 50 pounds. Woo, she's cute. With the number of things I keep adding to the studio, I need so many more plugs, so many more outlets. I've got to learn some cord management skills, and I think this is gonna force me to do that. The battery is about to die, so let me just take out this hose and see if it even fits in. Well, I need to cut this hose first off to see if it can fit in the machine. I'm hoping that it can. So some sad news about the hose. This hose is, I think, not only too thick, like the walls of it are too thick, but it's not flexible enough to go in the back of the GraverSmith. So I'm gonna have to get this special kind of hose. I think I know exactly what type of hose I can get. I'm not gonna spend the $79. I refuse on plastic. I tried to be cheap. I tried to find the solution myself. Don't get the same hoses from your hardware store. They're not malleable enough. At least you guys will know once this video is over if I find the right hose. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a few days. I'm gonna order that and I'll just have to look at my GraverSmith until then. So it's the next day, and thankfully Tom saved the day. He was able to rig up something from some old tube that he had in the shop, and the graver works. And I used it last night. I don't have any clips of it. I was too excited. I'll get some clips if I play with it today. I'll make sure I have some clips in here for you. I'll put it over my voice while I talk. But I do want to show you guys what we did to get it to work. Honestly, if you've got the $80 to spare and you don't have the time to mess around with buying hoses from different areas and all these different attachments, just spend the $80. If you're able to and you're like a no fuss kind of person, just spend the $80. Just know that's something that you need to buy. If you want to do it like that, fine. If you want to save the $80, I got so frustrated last night that I started adding it to my cart and it came out to $92 after shipping. So when I saw what he bought and we went to Ace Hardware and got the fittings, I think I maybe spent like $12. The hose was free, but those hoses, it was a 1/8 inch, or yeah, 1/8 inch hose. But even those hoses are super cheap. I mean, I think I saw at Ace Hardware, they're like $9 or something, depending on how long you got them. So we used the 1/8 inch hose that he got. It helps if you get a hose that's a little bit flexible and malleable. So thankfully, with the engraving machine, it came with an adapter, a barbed fitting, in case you wanted to go up a size in your hose. So we ended up doing that. We have a 1/8 inch hose, and we used a barbed fitting that it came with. We swapped it out, and I'll show you. Thankfully, the hose is tight enough around that barbed fitting. We didn't need any kind of hose clamps or anything like that. And then to connect it to the air compressor, my specific air compressor, we used, I saved the packaging for you guys. Let's see. We used a 3/16 by 1/8 inch hose barb. And I believe that's what attached that's what attached the hose to the air compressor. I'll try and link everything in my Amazon storefront so you guys can just click it if you'd like. And then this bushing, it's a 1/4 inch to a 1/8 inch. And for this is what attached to the actual hose itself. So Tom slipped the hose over that, put a hose clamp on it, and then he put some tape around it. What's it called? That thin white tape. Thread tape. Let me film that for you guys. Let me give you guys a little visual of what that all looks like. But anyway, $16 versus $80. I mean, it was probably about $16, maybe even less. If you're handy and you feel like you want to do all this stuff, do it. If you don't want to mess with it, then spend the $80. It's just, it all starts to add up when you get the handle pieces and then all the gravers and then the machine itself, and then the hose, and then the air compressor, the silent air compressors. It all adds up. So the $80 can make a big difference. So this is what we got. I'll have it linked in the description, the size hoses and all of these little bibs. So if you decide to get the exact same air compressor that I got, you'll know that everything will work. So really quick, this is the hose fitting that was on there originally, and this fits that 1/4 inch hose. So it did come with this adapter piece. So I just unscrewed this one from this area, and then I screwed that one in. Well, Tom did, I say I, but he did it all. And then he slipped this 1/8 inch hose over this barbed fitting. Then it runs down to the air compressor, and this is the first little fitting right here. And then this is that 1/4 to, or no, 1/8 of an inch to a 1/4. Anyway, those are the two pieces, and that's what attaches into the air compressor. So for those of you that aren't familiar with air compressors, this is the actual tank itself, and this gauge is how much pressure you're feeding to your unit. So you can see the tank right now is pressurized to 120 PSI, but right now I have nothing going to the machine, which is what you want when you're done playing with your toy. So when I'm ready to add pressure to my GRS thing, I'm gonna only bring it up to like maybe right below 30. That's not a big deal because I can also control the pressure on the unit itself. So you want to put it in auto. There's a little switch right here that keeps it in auto, and here it is right here in auto. If you don't remember to let the pressure out of this side and you leave it in auto the next day, it's going to continue to turn on to refill that to the line that you put it to. Always remember to empty out this side as well. So right now I'm going to turn it, and that's going to allow some of this pressure from the tank to go into the machine. So I'm going to turn it. You'll see the gauge go up. And then when I want it to stop, I'll just stop turning, and you'll see it stops going up like that. And then when I use the unit and this starts to go down, it'll kick on nice and quiet. I can attest to that. It was really nice. It was way, 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 way quieter than my McGraw hot dog air compressor. So as I use it, I don't have to come back over here and refill this every single time. It's on automatic. As this goes down, this kicks on, fills that side up, and then it cuts off. And it'll continue doing that until I'm done playing with my toy. So let me show you how to turn the unit on and how to work the unit. Okay, so here you have your speed. So the actual speed that the engraver pushes, and then you've got your pressure right here. So you're going to turn the unit on, and it gives you really good instructions in the manual on how to know how much air pressure your particular handpiece is going to need. And it tells you with pictures and everything, but pretty much you take your graver out. It's just nice and empty. You put it next to your ear while it's at 0 PSI. They want you to unlock it, so pull it out to unlock it. And then they want you to turn the pressure up. As you slowly start to turn the pressure up, you're going to hear in your handle a little knocking sound. It's going to sound like a little bit. And as you get to your correct pressure, it's going to stop knocking altogether. It's going to be dead quiet. And that's where you know, okay, that's the pressure that my particular handpiece is going to need. Pretty simple. And then you put your graver in, and that's all you need. So then you can adjust the speed, and in the manual it'll give you a little guide of what speed you need for fine work and what speed you need for more bulky work. Now that I've played with it some, I know that my handpiece likes about 19 to 20 PSI. So I'm just going to turn it. You can see it says turn right to add some pressure. So I'm just going to keep turning let some air into the unit, and it's gonna start going up. And just keep turning, just keep turning. And I'm gonna leave it about there. And then when I'm ready to use it, I just push on the pedal. And there you go. And if I slow it down a little bit, you can hear the air compressor kick on. It's not too loud, it's not startling. I'm sure there's quieter ones out there, but honestly, I am totally fine with the air compressor and the sound for myself and for my house. But just don't forget when you're done with the unit to let all of the air out, and then you push it in to lock and then just turn it off. This has been a dream tool of mine for such a long time, for so many years. I just never knew when I was going to be able to get it, and I was always trying to invest in other tools that could help me expand my business and help me get better. And I think I felt so comfortable with my Fordham hammer handpiece that I never prioritized getting this machine. But after playing with it yesterday, it is so good, you guys. I use the engraver part of it and it cuts like butter and so much less vibration than the Fordham hammer handpiece. Again, I still love that machine, the Fordham hammer handpiece. I think it's a great budget option for people that are just getting into all of this stuff. You can get so far with that tool, and there may even be times that I still use it. I don't know, but now that I have this, but it really is still a good tool. So if you're not able to get something like this, then consider the hammer handpiece with a line punch forge adapter so that you can do some type of pneumatic engraving. But this is absolutely, I can already tell, leaps and bounds better. It's going to help me be faster and more accurate. I can tell it's going to be a lot easier not to hit stones with this. Yeah, I can just tell that this is going to really help me level up my work. I have a microscope next on my list. I'm very hopeful that I can get that soon and start learning some more fun techniques. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful, especially with all the little things that it doesn't come with that you kind of have to figure out and research on your own. So yes, if you have one of these machines, or if you have the other two, can you please put in the comments why you think the other two are maybe better or how they differ, just your opinion on them. And if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow. And I hope you guys had a good new year, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.